What's going on, everyone? We are back for another live edition of the Bleed Los Podcast Carne Asada post-game show. We did it. We came out on top after a pitcher's duel and a scary ninth inning. 2-0 in the NLDS, boys. We are going to talk about it all. Here tonight with you, we've got Cody, aka Canelo, in the house. We've also got Anthony in the house, producer Roger behind the scenes. And as you know, I am Drea. Before we get into it all, we want to make sure to tell you about DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is your one stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat, and check out DodgersBeat.com. Okay, boys, we're up 2-0 in the NLDS. This is huge. How are we feeling after that ninth inning? Anthony, I'll start with you.
See that? You see how my hand is still trembling? Yeah, that's where we're trending towards in the ninth inning. It was actually a tale of like two games, like this awesome just old school pitchers duel between Luzardo and Snell, and then we finally break through, and then yeah, that ninth inning kind of happens and it starts trending in one direction. I kind of feared that this would be a different kind of post-game show, but thankfully we kind of escaped with two wins and we head back home. A chance to close it out with the sweep on let's see, on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday night.
Yeah, I needed a minute before we started this live. I was telling like for all the viewers, the guys, like, I don't think I can do this. I was so nervous. I was shaking too. Cody, how'd you hold up in that ninth inning?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a risk to put Blake Trinan in, someone that we've seen struggle for the second half of the season, especially September. Roki Sasaki waiting in the wings, Alex Vesia also waiting there as well. Two guys that have had pretty good success this October and recently. So, but Blake, I'll give him credit. He threw the sweeper. Castellanos just flipped his bat out there and ended up getting a double off of it. Edmund misses the tag at second. Pressure starting to rise. We've seen this story before. How many times have we seen the bullpen, blow the game late? And to do it in the postseason, each game and each run is that much more. And this would have, if the Phillies would have came out on top in this one, that's all everybody would have been talking about was the Dodgers bullpen, how they weren't able to capitalize here in Philly and go up 2-0. But thankfully, Roki Sasaki comes in, gets a quick 2-pitch out, and the Dodgers are heading back to Los Angeles up 2-0. Other than the ninth inning, very good game from the Dodgers, and I'm very excited to see what they do with Yamamoto on the mound and seeing if they can close it out. Because truth be told, I didn't think we would be in this situation up 2-0. I thought the Phillies would have had a little bit more fight, and they showed it in the ninth inning today, but they came up just short, and the Dodgers, they're riding high. Freddie Freeman, all of them, the infielders, they had a really good defensive ninth inning, and besides the Edmund throw, but they came away with the win, and that's all that matters.
It's all that matters. I mean, and we're going to talk about all of it, but I mean, I just was so like, I can handle losing a bullpen or the bullpen costing us a game in the regular season. We can't have that in the postseason. I mean, every win matters. Our chip is on the line. And I mean, my biggest fear coming into postseason was that the bullpen would cost us our chip. The bullpen would cost us, and we would always think like, God, can't let certain guys in. I mean, I know that Roberts is loyal, and I know that he probably should have felt confident. Most teams do with a 3-run lead. But Anthony, just kind of your take on should Roberts have been able to trust Trinan, and would you have trusted Trinan in with a 3-run lead in the ninth in today's game?
Yeah, he should be able to trust them. Again, run lead in the ninth inning. That's kind of the ideal spot for him to get some work in, and it's kind of going against the bottom half of the
Yep.
Phillies lineup as well too. I know the debate is whether you should have thrown Roki in there right away. He eventually came into this game anyway, only ended up throwing two pitches there at the end, but I don't know. Maybe he kind of just wanted to see if Blake had anything. I think the moment he started getting into trouble, that's when he started warming up. Guys, he warmed up Vesia, who had been warming the inning prior, and then he got Roki up there loose. But yeah, you eventually have to play these guys. You're not gonna know what you have if you don't play them, and situations like this kind of show what you have. So I don't know. Maybe down the line he doesn't go to Blake Trinan right there in that situation. He just skips them all entirely and just goes to Roki. But you have to play these guys. You're not gonna figure out what they have if you don't just play them. They sit on the bench.
Yeah. Will we see Trinan again? I mean, let's just kind of be positive for a second, because it looks like we'll make the NLCS based on just, history, saying that when you're up 2-0, I mean, teams that do that make the posts or make the NLCS 88.9% of the time. So I think it's fair to be positive about that. But Cody, when will we see Trinan again? I mean, obviously we have to play him at some point, okay, but I mean, it's just too nerve-wracking for the fan base. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I mean, we talked about it before, October started, where, some of these guys that Dave has depended on in the past, including Blake Trinan, he's going to continue to go with in October. And I think if the Dodgers are ultimately going to win the World Series, they're going to have to use some more arms of this bullpen. Not every day is your starting pitcher going to give you 7 or 6+ innings of shutout baseball. Dodgers have just been blessed with a streak of the current starting pitchers that they have right now. But, say when you get to 3 games in a row, if they do move on to the championship series, then you really got to start managing your bullpen a little bit more and saying, all right, how many guys are really pitching back-to-back days? We don't really see many people pitch 3 straight days anymore, especially with the way, they throw and all that stuff. So Roberts is going to start using other guys in the bullpen, maybe not in the division series because they have a day off for tomorrow, travel day, and then they pick up things again on Wednesday for game 3. But, Tanner Scott's going to be used. Blake Trinan will be used again. You're going to get bulk inning outs from possibly like Tyler Glasnow, Emmett Sheehan, Clayton Kershaw. We have not seen yet. I'm surprised he actually didn't get the ball today. Emmett Sheehan got another opportunity and looked really good for those 2 innings that he threw. But yeah, you got to count on these guys. And an interesting tweet from Fabian Ardaya, he just put out, they're up 2-0 in the series, and they've only gotten 3 outs from traditional relief pitchers. So that's kind of crazy. Roki Sasaki, he's a starter, turned into a relief arm. You had Emmett Sheehan get some outs there, and then Blake Trinan, it's not really looking good from the traditional arms in the bullpen. The Dodgers are doing what Anthony and a lot of other guys have said. Just go with your strength and start throwing these starters out there. Honestly, that's given the reason why the Dodgers are up 2-0. They go up, Glasnow comes in yesterday, Sheehan comes in today, and then Roki Sasaki, he closes it out in back-to-back games. So I think you're going to see maybe a shift of the trust tree that we like to call it. And Dave Roberts is probably starting to feel that pressure now too. As much as he likes Blake Trinan, I mean, we saw what happened today, a little bit of unluckiness, but he just couldn't locate a lot of his, his breaking pitches to the point where they were just flat out not in the zone, not competitive. So those Phillies hitters weren't going to swing at them. It's not, this isn't the Reds or some other, hovering around 500 team. This is the Philadelphia Phillies team that has 96 wins. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. I imagine Yamamoto's gonna have everything unleashed if he needs to go 6-7 innings. But yeah, I think the bullpen's going to be the storyline for as long as the Dodgers are playing in October.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling a little bit calmer now, and I do understand the whole, need for usage, and we can't just kind of piggyback starters the entire way through. I get that logically, but it's just that our starters have been so incredible all the way through. I mean, a pitching masterclass today from Blake Snell. I mean, Anthony, give me your thoughts on what we saw today from him. Just amazing.
He was the only word that comes to mind is dominant. His quotes beforehand were also very, like, he had the utmost confidence in himself. He said that he's ready to pitch in this kind of environment, and you saw it out there. He had everything working. The only blemish that he had, it really wasn't a blemish, just the 6th inning, his last inning of work. He just ended up getting some guys on base, but overall, I just thought it was a very solid performance from him. And this is the guy that we signed in the offseason to come and do big things for us in the playoffs, and he's kind of delivered on that moment now. So we'll see where we go from there with him. But yeah, like I've said it before, I have the utmost confidence, whether it's Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, or even Tyler Glasnow to come in here and get some outs. Tyler Glasnow already got some outs for us in game 1. I think the strategy is going to be the piggyback strategy. I really liked what I saw from Emmett Sheehan today. It didn't really look like he got the moment let him get to him this time around. I think it did the first time around against the Reds. You can just see when they cut away to him, he was kind of like nervous. I don't know if it was nervous anxiety or just like anxiety in general. It just looked like he wasn't himself that day. And then you cut away to him today, and he looked like it was like a regular season game for him. He just looked so much more calm and more measured that I actually felt like maybe you just kind of let him finish out this game and let him go to the 9th inning. But we'll see. We're from there. But yeah, for Blake Snell, it just caps off another solid outing for him. I know there was like stuff like, oh, he's a bad pitcher on the road, but there's only one bad game there, that game against the Pirates, and then that game against Tampa Bay in that Mickey Mouse Stadium where he gave up those two fly balls that just snuck over the porch. But I feel like Blake Snell, like, yeah, he really solidified himself as a Dodger today with that performance.
Yeah, Cody, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's such a fun debate because I like there's like certain players I really like that I'm always gonna like root for, one because they play for the team, but like just their personality, I just cheer for them. And Blake Snell's just one of those guys. I've always liked him, even when he pitched for the Padres and the Giants, and even when he was on the Rays during the World Series. I was like, this dude is nasty. And
Yeah.
when he had the opportunity to become a Dodger in free agency and the team swooped in and got him as early as they did, I was super excited because I was like, man, we really haven't had like an impact left-handed ace. Kershaw has always been on the team, but he was starting to be at the tail end of his career and he was battling the injuries. But Snell's just a gamer. He's just a pitcher, dude, and he knows how to dissect guys' swings. Very old traditional baseball mind. He was even talking about it in his interview yesterday, preparing for the start, and just how he has the notes and the stats and all the analytics that we use and the team uses, but he also just goes with the touch and feel, and that's kind of the type of pitcher he is. He will wiggle around the zone. Walks are a part of his game, and he would rather not get beat by throwing certain pitches. And I thought one of the things that was funny today is when he was facing Alec Boehm. He takes out an index card from his back pocket, and then sees something in the scouting report that they had on Boehm, and then throws a fastball dotted right on the inside corner, caught Alec Boehm completely off guard. And that's just the type of guy he is, the pitcher he is. He's just someone that cares that much. And,
Yeah.
between him and Yamamoto and, Glass now, Kershaw, Sheehan, like everybody on this rotation, it's like, I don't know who to pick to say, yeah, that's their ace. The Dodgers have legitimately 3 aces on their team right now, 4 aces, including Ohtani when he's going. And Snell just, dissected the lineup. He was signed to do the pitch in games like these, only 1 hit. And that 1 hit was just a ball outside that Sosa just threw his bat out, and it ended up flaring down between right field and center field. And that was pretty much it today. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. He did everything that the Dodgers asked and more. And I'm looking forward to his next start. Hopefully it's in the NLCS for game 1 or 2. If the Dodgers can complete a sweep, they can pretty much reset their entire rotation, bullpen, all that. They'll have a pretty good bit of rest here. So, but Blake Snell was perfect tonight. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts around that.
No, there is not. And yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to the chat. We had several comments going on. I mean, yeah, we're all kind of just taking a sigh of relief. But yeah, there are some colorful comments about, what we should do with Trident, what we want to see coming up, because we probably are going to make the NLCS. But definitely let us know who's your ace. We'd be happy to interact with you. Put some questions in the chat. We'll take some super chats if you would like to send us those as well. But yeah, fun fact about Snell, he got exactly 9 strikeouts when he pitched in the wild card game 1. And now he has another 9 strikeouts today. Yamamoto had 9 strikeouts and Ohtani had 9 strikeouts in the 4 postseason games we played so far. They've all been hitting that number consistently. So obviously you see a lot of strength with our starting pitching. But yeah, our producer Roger said in our text chain, good pitching can shut down good hitting. And obviously we saw that tonight. Anthony, talk to me about Luzardo, because I mean, he really was scaring me that we weren't able to hit anything off of him.
Yeah, he went out there and looked himself pretty dominant. I was actually kind of surprised that they went to the bullpen right away. I kind of figured, like, why don't we just let it ride it out? Yeah, I know he gave up 2 singles up to that point and he had runners on second and third, but I don't know. My gut feeling, at least if I was in that situation, is kind of like let him ride it out. I don't know if going to the bullpen was that smart of an idea because they ended up scoring in that inning anyway. But yeah, he looked unhittable at a point too, and I was kind of there where I saw his pitch count was around 60 pitches and 70. I'm like, this guy might just go the distance. He might just go 9 innings complete game, but they ended up taking him out. But yeah, if you have situations where, and the Phillies, Sanchez the day before had a really, really good outing too, and you kind of saw it unraveled once he left the game as well too. So essentially, the game plan here is just you just have to get to the Phillies bullpen. You just have to figure a way to chase them essentially, because their starters are just dominant, and at home too, they're pretty much unhittable. But yeah, I was kind of surprised they went to the bullpen in that situation, but who cares at this point? We ended up winning and scoring in that inning.
Yeah, I was a little scared of Luzardo. I know they have good pitching, and I was thinking about, okay, just get to, yeah, same thing like you just said, get to their bullpen, because now we're getting more and more looks at them and we kind of know where their weaknesses are, kind of the same as ours. But yeah, Cody, it's a sigh of relief. But who's going to be up next in the next round, or do they have a dominant pitcher on tap?
Yeah, that kind of gets into their decision making today.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be Ranger Suarez for game 3, I would assume. But even on the broadcast, with the days off, they could, to try to avoid the sweep, they could just start Sanchez on short rest and see what they have with him. Maybe get Ranger out of the bullpen after that, or you pitch both of them. But it's going to be all hands on deck for the Phillies. I mean, everybody should be available. You got the travel day, you got a day to reset. You come to Dodger Stadium, you're facing Yamamoto. There's really not much room for error there. He's been on a fire streak since the start of September, pretty much all season actually too. And, you're asking to get a win at Dodger Stadium on the chance of them clinching and going to the NLCS for the second straight year. That's a lot to come back from. I assume they'll probably go with the traditional arm in Suarez. He's a guy that's been there, done that for them in the past. And if they really need to continue the left-handed dominance, you can have Sanchez in your back pocket, bring him out of the bullpen. And that's kind of, I tweeted it out just because a lot of Phillies fans that are friends with me that we talking, I even had my friend at the game today. He was just confused why Thompson would say in back-to-back media days that, Ranger Suarez and Aaron Nola are available in the bullpen and didn't use them either time. Where on the other hand, Dave Roberts is like, yeah, Tyler Glasnow is available. Like I'm going to use him if there's an opportunity that arises for that. And once that opportunity came, he didn't second guess it. He went straight to Glasnow in game 1 and said, hey, look, if you can give me 3, 6, or even 9 outs, like there was a possibility that he wanted Glasnow to get, that 3-inning save. And Thompson, for whatever reason, just didn't pull the trigger on it, went to his traditional bullpen arms of who have also struggled similarly to the Dodgers this year. And in back-to-back nights, it went against the Phillies' way. And I mentioned at the beginning of the series, I mentioned it before it, Dave Roberts is a completely different manager than what he was even 3 years ago. My man is just so postseason experienced now, and especially how he navigated last October. I kind of just trust every move that he makes. Like even bringing in Trinan today, that's with the string of like 3 righties up. You expect Trinan to get out. Sometimes it's up to the players to perform. But other than that, I feel like Roberts has just outmanaged the Phillies in every aspect of this series so far, specifically with the pitching management and the bullpen. And Luzardo, as good as he was, he's young, 28 years old. He's struggled with a lot of injuries throughout his career. This was kind of like his first full complete season. And even that had some ups and downs. Like there was a streak in the season in the middle of the summer where he, coincidentally enough, was tipping his pitches and his ERA jumped up to like 11 for a month. And then the Phillies had to rectify that. And he ended up being, an above league average pitcher by the season's end. But third time through the order, to have him face, the middle of the Dodgers lineup with Freddie Freeman again, even Phillies fans in the stadium, my friend said, they just knew that wasn't the right decision, despite how good he was dealing. They wanted to see somebody else because they kind of just knew that what happened was going to happen. And it went the Dodgers' way. They hold on, and we'll see what the Phillies do in game 3, but they're going to have to get really creative to try to avoid the sweep here, which I think is a real possibility of happening.
Have you checked on your Phillies fans over there, or will you be checking on them later?
I mean, I feel bad just because the Dodgers were kind of like they deflated most of that stadium for the entire game. Like Blake Snell just gave no room for error. That's I forget what inning it was. It was the 6th inning, I think, when he got out of all that damage, striking out Harper and having runners on. That kind of just shutting down the Phillies and then scoring immediately after that. Like that just took all the air out of the room. And then to have a couple innings go later, Dodgers bullpen starts doing Dodgers bullpen things. Phillies fans are getting up on their feet. Like I even mentioned in our text thread, don't let this crowd get back into it. They're starting to get hype right now. And to end the game the way they did with an almost error from Tommy Edman that would have scored, a run, could have possibly scored 2 runs if everybody was running on that play. So yeah, that's a tough way to go out. And then now you're looking at a 2-0 series deficit, which I don't think the Phillies have ever come back from a series losing the first or second game. And I think Sarah Lang's put out teams that lose both games I don't think they've ever won a division series after losing 2, or maybe it's like a few. So Is it just 2?
Yeah, I saw that 2 teams have come back from an 0-2 deficit. That was the 2012 San Francisco Giants over the Reds and the 1981 Dodgers over the Astros. So it's only happened twice, and it's been a minute. So yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, so odds aren't in the Phillies' favor right now, and they know that. Their fans know that. There was a lot of boos coming out from the crowd that were booing the Phillies specifically. They got a lot to do right to force a game 4 and then even force a game 5, which I think is very unlikely. Don't want to sound too cocky, but like the Dodgers have all the cards right now. They can pretty much do whatever they want for those 2 possible games in Los Angeles.
That's so exciting that we're coming back. So yeah, Anthony, is a sweep on the table? What do you think?
It's very much on the table. I like our chances with Yoshi going game 3. I think the Phillies, their best shot at trying to getting back into the series was tonight. I just don't see it. We have 2 games at home. I just don't see them taking one of those 2. They might take game 3, but I still don't think it's possible. I just think Yamamoto has been in such a great groove. You saw it in the wild card series as well against the Reds. He was pretty dominant when he's on. He only had that 2 runs that were scored to him, but it was off that error that Teoscar had. But yeah, I think they're just gonna come out there and swing. I think as well too, if the Dodgers offense kind of scores early, I think you crushed your spirit. And I don't think there'll be a lot of long faces on that other side, kind of heads down, kind of just pondering, wondering what could have been. You had 2 games at home to capitalize. Ideally, you take one, but now you're going 0-2 cross country overnight. If the Dodgers offense goes out there and puts like a 3 spot in the first inning, I think you're looking at a sweep here.
I did not think that it would ever, like, my wildest dreams when we finished the Red series, that there was a possibility that was going to happen. I mean, we were just talking best case scenario, we take 1 from Philly, come back home 1-1. But now the idea that we could sweep and actually have rest and get all set for the next series, I mean, that's just fantastic. And I'll just kind of stick with you because I want your thoughts on this, on a particular player, Miguel Rojas. Wow. Well, he really stopped, damage from happening. We have heard the hate and we have given him his flowers here on this show. Anthony, is he that dude?
He is. Honestly, when I was watching that game, so set the scene here. I was not in my normal environment. I was actually at Buffalo Wild Wings with some buddies, and the play kind of happened, and like we celebrated it, but like we broke it down afterwards. Like he had to play there at second and first. I think he kind of just chose the hardest option, but at that point, I like, oh, who cares that? Like he kind of like it was a game of inches because before that, Trey Turner was gunned down by Will Smith, and the ball kind of
Yeah.
ricochets off Mookie Betts and goes off in the air. And we're kind of sitting there like, damn, this is just baseball. It's a game of inches, game of inches. You can't have a moment like that happen. And then you fast forward a little bit, you have a game of inches there. Or Miguel Rojas at like age 30 something outruns Trey Turner. And I think the reason he outruns Trey Turner is because Trey Turner is still dealing with that sore hamstring that he has. I think if he's fully healthy, I think Trey actually beats him, but it's kind of a risk reward there. I think if he just goes to second base, you get the easy out, but I don't know if his momentum was kind of just pushing him to third base and kind of just said like, well, screw it, all my momentum's taking me there. I'm just gonna go sell out and basically see if I can get him, and he got him. So not much you can complain about there. But yeah, that's kind of like it's a risky play, but I'm glad it played out the way it did. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm glad it happened. Like it's awesome. Basically, it's awesome. It went our way.
Game of inches indeed. I was very happy because it was our entire lineup was putting up some impressive plays. They were getting the hits. It's not just our top 3 that are coming through for us. We can say amazing things about almost everyone in the lineup that is really coming to play. Cody, talk to me about Teo, as he was getting a little bit of heat early in the game and for, I guess, a lack of hustle that I'm not sure he deserved. And then he comes back later on and he really tries to hustle it to second base. Your thoughts on one of our amazing Hernandez brothers?
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of his game. I don't expect that play that in particular, like in the beginning of the game when Luzardo's dealing, retiring like 15 straight Dodger hitters. He hits a comeback to Luzardo at the very start of it. Teo looks up. It looks like Luzardo got it cleanly. And then even though he didn't get it cleanly, he only bobbled a little bit away from him. Teoscar Hernandez isn't Trey Turner. He's not some fast super runner. He's also a guy that's been battling injuries this year. He had the groin issue. Do you really want him to bust his ass down the line to still be out? Because I do think even if he was running at 100% intensity, I still think he would have been out. And say he gets hurt on the play. I'm fine with that just because I don't need my, I know it's a game of inches, the postseason, like every base counts, but in that situation, that's a routine play, and the Phillies ended up still getting the out anyway. But, he made up for it. Later in the game, he's on third base, playing the infield. Trey Turner gets it, who's been a very good defensive shortstop this year. Throw was pretty much on the money. It was a bang play. Teoscar Hernandez's foot just gets in there. He toe taps the plate, keeps his leg down, and the Dodgers end up scoring the first run of the game off of a broken bat, like bloop single in the infield from Kike Hernandez. So that's where you like the hustle. He goes down the line, gets a good break, and gets the scoring the first run and really breaking things open for the Dodgers that inning, the start of it. And then even, he hits a ball and then tries to go to second, stuttered a little bit at first. I don't know if he tripped over like the first base bag or just made a late decision. But even on that one, I thought he was safe even after the replay. I think they got it wrong. I just think there wasn't enough evidence to overturn the out call or the original call on the field. So, because it looked like his foot did get in there in time, but it was just one of those things that was bang. Teoscar's going to show up. This guy's clutch. He's done it the entire postseason so far. We saw it in the wild card series. We saw it in game 1 of this series. Today gets a couple knocks and scores a couple runs. I'm not going to bash Hernandez for, not sprinting all out on a ground ball to the pitcher, because 99.9% of the time, no errors are made on those types of plays. These are professional athletes. They don't run out every single ground ball in the infield for a reason, because most of the time it's done. But it just does look bad on the optics, especially in an era of social media. I think David Vassay brought this up perfectly on Dodger Talk after game 1, where that's the downside of social media, is everybody sees it and everybody has a comment about it. And they kind of have a short-term memory about everything, because then Teoscar comes up, does something good for the team, and impacts them in a positive way. But yeah, I didn't have any issue with it. I know at the end of the day, Teoscar does care. He's just a bonehead sometimes.
Yeah, but I think we did not bring him on for, his defensive plays. We know that he's clutch when he needs to be clutch. And even if he has a blunder in the game, he usually makes up for that blunder. And I think we owe the first game of this series to him. I mean, let's be honest, without that clutch hit, we're not up 2-0 right now. And just a fun fact about Teo, he's the first player in MLB history to have 3+ home runs, 9+ RBIs in any team's first 3 games of a postseason. So this guy is him and Kike. You can't put a price on it. So just very lucky to have him. But another player, or 2 players, that I'm really, really happy about, and love me some Rortvedt. Everyone knows I'm so happy we have him on our team, stepping up when, Will Smith couldn't be the Will Smith that we all know for the last month. But seeing Smith today come through so clutch for us. Anthony, is he just the best catcher in baseball? Your thoughts?
I think he is, yeah. I think he actually might be in line to start game 3. I think pregame he was catching Yamamoto's bullpen session, so I think he's going to be penciled into that lineup come game 3. I was interested to see how he did at the plate, came through with a big hit, and more importantly, he was pretty close to throwing Trey Turner out, so that's another good sign that that hand is doing well. So we'll see where he's at. But yeah, there's nothing much more else that I can say about Will Smith. Truly a gamer, gaming it out this time of year, pretty banged up. I'm pretty sure he's not 100%. He's probably just saying it just to make everyone feel good. But I like everything that I saw. Don't like that he's out there swinging at the first pitch, but it came through in that second inning. Or the second at bat that he had. I would prefer that he draws more pitches. But yeah, that's just a little nitpick here. But there's not much else I can say about our combination of catchers between him and Benny Rowe. I think Benny Rowe does a good job of calling the game, and I just don't feel any confidence. My confidence doesn't wane or anything like that when I see Will Smith come up. So I think we do have a nice little combination of backup catcher and starting catchers. So I have the utmost confidence in them to get the job done.
And you're really good about keeping track of how many wins in a row we have so far. So what are we at now?
We are at nine wins in a row. Actually, so I saw a tweet right now. Let me bring it up. One sec. Just had it right here. So they tweeted out, of course, this is the one point my Wi-Fi fails me.
Little update. Aaron Nola starting game 3.
Okay. I'm going to be devouring all the news. 9.
Okay, here we go. I found it. So the last
Okay.
4 teams to win their first 4 playoff games all got to the World Series. 2 of them ended up winning and 1 ended up losing. So the 2022 Astros won the World Series. Then in 23, you have both the Rangers and Diamondbacks. So they both ended up playing each other. So one ended up had to lose. And now you have the 2025 Dodgers, who have won their first 4 playoff games. So yeah, I feel like I've said it before. We're just peaking at the right time. And they just do not care about. It's obvious they do not care about the regular season. You just have to make it to the dance, and as long as you're healthy and all your guys are clicking at the right time, you give yourself a really good opportunity at winning this thing. You don't have to win 90 games anymore. You just have to win, in our case, 11 games, and you see yourself as a world champion again. So again, we just might be in the middle of one of those crazy Dodger like hot runs, like they always go in the middle of the summer, but this time it's happening in the fall time. But yeah, hopefully we just keep riding the momentum to the World Series essentially.
That's what I've seen online for the last couple of days prior to coming into this series. A lot of the Phillies fans were like, well, the Dodgers don't play well, and they had a terrible, regular season record. We beat them. And I was thinking, what does the regular season have to do with the postseason? I mean, we're no strangers to the fact that it really doesn't correlate at all. Just because you do one win, you have so many wins, or you dominate a team before October does not mean that it's going to happen that way in October. And I really just think the Dodgers use this time, like the regular season, as a layup drill, just getting ready for postseason. They really don't care how many wins they have as long as they make the dance. And they really challenge that axiom that you can't just flip a switch, but maybe you can if you have this much postseason experience. They know how to turn it on and how to turn it off. Would you agree, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, this year specifically, yes. And even last year to an extent, because I just feel like they've been there so often, especially Dave Roberts, being the manager. He's been managing since 2016. They've made the playoffs every single year since then. They've made the playoffs for, over 12 straight, 13 years now. So kind of the regular season for us as fans that have been watching this team, sometimes I'm just like, I don't need to watch every regular season game. Like I can take a day or two. I don't need to, because I know in October they're going to be playing baseball. Not a lot of other fan bases can say that. Like It's very rare that happens in baseball. It's very rare that it happens in sports in general. And the Dodgers this year specifically, even Kike Hernandez said it, I believe, before the start of this series, where they kind of were just waiting around for this. And that was kind of something that was always in the back of our heads. We were like, we know they don't care about these games. As long as they win enough, they secure a postseason berth, they win the division, then I think everything's fine with them. They got the wild card a little bit. I think that was beneficial to them because it allowed them to kind of get and tee up on the Reds and straighten up their bats and align their pitching to this series here. And they're still playing really good baseball. Like Anthony said, 9 wins in a row going back to the regular season. I think they just knew at the right time when to kick it into gear right now, even though they did deny, there is no flipping a switch. I think there was a flip of a switch around the final week of the season. And we're starting to see it now. Dave Roberts is managing these games a lot differently than he did in the regular season. A lot of these players are having way different at bats. They're throwing different pitches, like all that. The only thing that's been constant from the regular season to the postseason has been the starting rotation just continuing their dominance. When you have a good starters going, every single day can go 6-7 innings. It makes Dave Roberts' job a lot easier to pick and choose who you want to come into tonight. And it did look a little shaky when he was trying to just get, the final 6 outs. And he was like, all right, let's go one arm here, and then let's bring in Sasaki for one final out to close this game. But I think the Dodgers they're playing their best baseball of the entire season right now. And I think it's because they know what's at stake right now. They want to win another World Series. It's very reassuring to me because we've watched our fair share of October baseball where they kind of just go into October after winning 111 wins, 100 wins, and they just fall flat. Where the last 2 seasons, I just feel like there's just a totally different vibe. I don't think they're ever out, even if they could be losing that game. With other teams in the past, I kind of felt that way. It was like, all right, 2 runs here and there. This offense, even though they got Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, all these guys, they just couldn't pull through except for 2020. And back-to-back years, 24 and 25, they just look like a totally different unit. philosophy. I don't know how to explain it, but they just look like a really good team. They remind me like the Houston Astros kind of in their run, where the Houston Astros were just always inevitable. That's kind of how the Dodgers are right now. It's like, all right, you got to beat the Dodgers for a full 9 innings of work, and they've just been playing the best baseball that they can right now at the right time.
I think that we're obviously not going to have this conversation yet, but should another title come in the offseason, maybe we could talk about, are the Dodgers, fixing to be a dynasty? Because if we do get another title, it's just a decade of dominance, longer than that really. But I want to talk about some of our young bucks that helped us get some of those final outs. Anthony, talk to me about Emmett Sheehan. Talk to me about Roki Sasaki, because these guys are young and they just looked unflappable today. There's just a mindset that I just wish our entire bullpen would seem to have, because you have one side of the bullpen very shaky, seem like they lack the confidence and they're afraid, and then you have Roki Sasaki, who is just kind of like, I don't know. He doesn't look like he's afraid at all. Like if they hit it, they hit it, but I'm getting this out. So what do you think?
Yeah, I just throughout the whole season, I feel like most of the games that I ended up going to in person, I saw a lot of Emmett Sheehan in person, and it just felt like he goes out there with the utmost confidence in the world that he's going to get the job done. I don't think I ever saw a truly bad Emmett Sheehan start. The one that comes to mind is I went to San Francisco, and he piggybacked off Shohei's first 3 innings, and Sheehan basically went almost the entirety of that game. I think he got taken out in the 8th inning, if I remember correctly, but he goes out there and he has that confidence about it, that swagger, basically. Like, yeah, I have that best stuff. Like, here's at it, basically. And like, it brings me back to like guys before him. Bobby Miller used to have that kind of swag, doesn't have it no more. River Ryan for sure still has it, so that's why I'm kind of excited to see where he's at next year in his recovery process. And I don't know. It's just something about him. He's just like he goes out there and he knows what he's gonna do. He has a game plan. He's gonna stick to his game plan and he's gonna execute it. And for someone at such a young age to have that up here in the major leagues is kind of very impressive. So I'm kind of I know he's in our bullpen right now, but I think he's gonna make a strong case to be the fifth guy in that rotation going forward. Now that we know Kershaw's not gonna come back, he's gonna be retiring at the end of the year. And the same with Roki. Roki is kind of I know everyone's kind of fixated with the idea that he's going to be a bullpen guy, but this guy's a starter. He's a bullpen guy for this run specifically because he's not built up to go 5, 6, 7 innings like the rest of these guys. But I think you just have to get the idea out of your head. Like after this season, no, this guy's going to slot into the rotation and see what he has. Again, he only got 2 months before he ended up getting hurt, and a lot of people were kind of labeling a bust. This guy's only, I think, if I'm guessing correctly, he's only 21, 22 years old of age, and like it's such an insane thing to kind of label someone a bust after 2 seasons or two months of a season. So I'm kind of excited because the stuff that he has is really nasty, and you saw it today. This is the first time they said in the broadcast that he's inherited runners on in any situation coming out of the bullpen because he doesn't come out the bullpen, and it didn't phase him at all. He only threw 2 pitches there to Trey Turner, and he got out the inning. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here, but I'm just excited for the future going forward. I know we're still in the middle of this playoff run, but we have two absolute. I like to throw around the term demon. I think these guys are absolute demons, and I think they're going to play a big part for us going forward in the rotation.
Yeah, we have Sasaki for a while, and I see in the chat someone, Nathaniel Crenshaw. I wonder if we should start Roki in Game 3. Probably gonna have plenty of Roki starts in the future, but we have to just kind of use him wisely. And we have like just an embarrassment of riches right now with pitching, and so I know that the Dodgers will use him with max effectiveness in the coming years. But yeah, he is the fourth youngest pitcher in Dodgers history to record a save in the postseason. Most recent being Brusdar Graterol in 2020. So he's young, but it looks like they really handled him well when we weren't seeing him and making sure that he was ready for this moment because he's met the moment. So kind of like going to get ready to round out things, but they have a thing in Philly that says it's Red October. Cody, is it Blue October?
Yeah, they went in there and stole both those games from a ballpark that had a lot of, street cred. Everybody said, you don't want to play 9 innings of hell is what they called it. I didn't see that at all. I think there was a stat that they've lost 6 of their last 7 there or something like that. They just have not been playing good baseball. The fans, as rowdy as they can get, I just don't think this Dodgers team was fazed by that at all. Just because, I don't know if we mentioned on the live, but I talked about it with Roger, I think, where it's like the Dodgers are just hated by everybody. Every ballpark they go to, they are booed. They are not cheered for. They do have fan bases. They do have a fan base that travels well with them. Like almost every venue I've ever been to, whether it's Baltimore, Philly in particular, has had the stadium taken over by a lot of Dodger fans as well. But there's always that fair share of like criticism. They are the new like New York Yankees. People don't like the Dodgers because one, they win, they spend money, they always get good players, and they're in a title contention window right now, and they just won the World Series. So, but yeah, it is Blue October right now. I'll hold off any more, trash talking until the conclusion of Game 3 and see how that unfolds. But things are looking really good right now. To take 2 in Philly, I did not think was possible. I mean, before we like wrap up and get to the next part of this, I was okay with the split. I don't even think it was possible to take 2 in Philly. I mean, the Mets couldn't do that last year. The Atlanta Braves couldn't win in Philly at all in their times playing there. And the Dodgers went in there kind of similar to the D-backs. These NL West teams, they're just going in there. They don't care about the fan base that the Phillies has. Yeah. I mean, that was their biggest advantage this whole series. And now not only the Dodgers take home field advantage, now they're just up 2-0 in the series, just need 1 win. And they got 2 shots to do that in Los Angeles before going back for Philly.
I think, the Philly fans did overestimate their ability to scare the Dodgers. I mean, when you have that, it's not just 1 year. We have years of people just hating on what are essentially very likable guys. I just think it's the whole organization that, even though they themselves would want their management and their front office and to do everything like the Dodgers, what I do respect about the Phillies, though, is that they do give props to the Dodger organization, and they try to do a lot of things in the way that we do, and say that that's a model organization for everyone to follow. And I agree. And it's not just money. We can talk about this more in the offseason, but it isn't just money that gets you into the dance. There's teams right now that do not have an exorbitant payroll that are in the dance. And so, but they know that at their heart, it's just really jealousy. But yeah, we're going to see Yamamoto next. And we all know how much we love our Yamamoto days. Anthony, what's the key to putting this away on Wednesday or Thursday?
I think the key is actually still the Dodgers offense. I think if you go out there and they just announced, that Aaron Nola gets that start. I think if you put up an even number on him early, I think you get the Phillies kind of second guessing themselves. And like, if you keep scoring often and early, I think you're just gonna eventually the camel's gonna just come breaking down. I think you have them down essentially. They're down on the ground. Now you just want to lay out the punch, the finishing blow right there, and just kind of submit them. But yeah, I think it's just gonna come down to the offense scoring early. I think Yamamoto is gonna keep doing the same thing that he's done for the whole entire year. But yeah, it's going to rely on the Dodgers offense to kind of score early and kind of give him that cushion. And let's ride into victory and just sweep him.
Yeah, Cody, what are you looking most forward to in the next 2 games at Dodger Stadium?
Oh, well, I'm hoping it's just one. Aaron Nola getting the ball is kind of shocking just because he has been a postseason performer for them in the past, but this season in particular, he's just been really bad. Year 2 of that massive extension that he signed with them, 6.01 ERA this season. He's been getting beaten up. The FIP isn't better either, which is a better indicator of how good a pitcher is. And even that's still at 4.58. It's not Aaron Nola's year. I think the biggest loss for the Phillies this year is, not having Zach Wheeler be that right-handed middleman to break up these lefties. And the Phillies are feeling it right now. They lost their ace for the postseason run. Luzardo pitched his ass off today. Sanchez did really good as well, but it's like saying you took Kershaw away when the Dodgers had him in his prime, or if like last season when the Dodgers were missing a good bit of their rotation, backs against the walls. Some teams can rebound off of it, and this Phillies team, if their offense isn't hitting like the Dodgers is, it's hard for them to win ball games when you don't have your workhorse behind you. And them going to Aaron Nola for Game 3 just is very confusing to me because they do have Ranger Suarez in their back pocket, who has pitched a lot better this season. But I mentioned it, I think, on the preview of this series, he got hit by a comeback line drive on his final start of the regular season, 102 miles per hour right in the thigh. He may be on the roster, but is he even healthy? I mean, that's like the underlying thing for me. Like, Ron Thompson said that he's available to come in and piggyback with Aaron Nola, but is Suarez in the the bullpen? Is he there? Like, is he an actual player? I saw him in the bullpen today with his jersey on. He wasn't throwing, but it's very weird. I don't know what they're doing over there. if the Dodgers can score early and give Yamamoto a 2-3 run cushion, I just think, we've seen him just pitch shutouts or 1-run, outings and not get a win or get a no decision. If the Dodgers give him any bit of run support, I just don't see the Phillies beating Yamamoto in game 3. All the leverage and momentum is just going to the team right now, even with how this game ended today. If the Phillies tied it or had a comeback win, we're talking about a totally different complexion of the series. But to lose in the fashion they did today, travel to Dodger Stadium with this loss festering on you in the plane ride, things aren't looking good in that Phillies clubhouse right now.
No, I think they see the writing on the wall, but they're going to play their guys, being that this is like a do or die game for them. They're going to see what they can do to kind of maybe pull something, rabbit out of the hat. But Anthony, do you think we're going to see our old pal Walker Buehler anytime in the series?
If they show him like on the Jumbotron, yeah, that's the only time I think we'll see Walker Buehler. I mean, this would have been a perfect opportunity to kind of put him in that situation and didn't go to him. So that kind of tells you everything that you need to know about Walker Buehler in the Phillies rotation. But yeah, I don't think we'll see him at all. I'd be surprised if we see him in game 3. Maybe if the game's like completely out of reach, then yeah. But other than that, no, I'd be surprised if I see him on the mound.
Yeah. So then I have to ask you guys, are we changing Dodgers in 4, Dodgers in 5 predictions? Are we thinking it could really be all moved up? Because I'm going to move mine up. I think we might sweep. I'm feeling kind of good after this win tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to sound too cocky about it, but it's just there's so many variables of something would have to go wrong for it to go right for the Phillies. And Yamamoto is, hey, you didn't see him in game 1, you didn't see him in game 2. Well, here you go. You're going to get, likely the runner up to the NL Cy Young, or at least top 3 in the NL Cy Young to start game 3 at Dodger Stadium in his home crowd. It just looks very bad for the Phillies right now. Could they force a game 4? Yeah. But I just think the Dodgers are going to try to wrap it up as quickly as they can, because the longer this series goes, the more bullpen arms you're going to have to use. And we've already seen that. That's the biggest question mark for this team right now. The more opportunities you give a Phillies team or any other team in this October run, more looks at this Dodgers bullpen and more of these guys getting more opportunities to blow it. It would bite the Dodgers in the ass. And I think they should just go for the sweep, everybody out in game 3, and then get this series over with, and then get a couple of days off for the NLCS.
Okay, Anthony, same question. Dodgers in 5, Dodgers in 4. Are we popping bottles on Wednesday?
I think we're trending towards popping bottles on Wednesday. From what I've seen from the Phillies offense, it is a lot of just swing and miss, and I just haven't seen any like hard hit balls here and there. Castellanos kind of got one off the end of the bat that kind of just dinked in there into left field. So I think with Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking the ball for us in game 3, I like our chances at a sweep. If it doesn't happen, I like our chances in 4. I would be absolutely petrified if we have to board a flight to Philadelphia for a game 5, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the next time we play in Philadelphia will be in the regular season, whenever that takes place. But yeah, Dodgers in 3, Dodgers in 4. I'm feeling very confident, but yeah, I'm just ready.
That Phillies team might look a little different the next time we see them in Philadelphia. So we'll see how all that shapes up. And their fans are calling for blood and calling for heads to roll right now. So we'll see. There's going to be some changes in all the league. But yeah, fun fact: on this day in 1963, the Dodgers beat the Yankees 2-1 in Game 4 of the World Series, completing a sweep. And Sandy Koufax was on the mound through a 6-hit complete game, won the World Series MVP. And I think we're coming into a week where we might see, hopefully, give Yoshi one last chance to become that, legend like Sandy Koufax was, because if anyone deserves to kind of close this out, it's Yoshi, and have that strong historic night. So we'll pray for that. But yeah, very excited for what we just saw, because it was looking scary there for a minute. But yeah, Cody, you have been busting out some incredible articles day in and day out, especially in this postseason run. So for the viewers and listeners who do not know where to read your articles, why don't you go ahead and tell them?
Yeah, everything's on DodgersBeat.com. I'm sure I'll have a lot of stuff to write about and digest on tomorrow's off day, especially about this Dodgers bullpen, probable starters for Game 3, what to expect. I know we got a couple updates today as well. I think the most recent one is looks like Rojas, his hamstring may have barked on that play with Trey Turner. So we'll see what happens, but all of our work is on there. All of the pregame, postgame interviews are on the YouTube channel here. Obviously, we got these lives going on. It's all connected. DodgersBeat.com, the Bleed Lows podcast, all that stuff. So be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, and check out our socials.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that. Anthony, what are your final words?
Final words. Yeah, I'm happy we got the win. Got a little bit stressful there, but yeah, I'm just excited. Postseason ball. Off day yesterday kind of was like a nice little mental reset. Off day tomorrow as well too. A nice little mental reset before we get back at it on Wednesday. But yeah, I'm excited. This is the best time of year.
Yeah, and as we're going live right now, I believe are the Cubs and Brewers playing. Is there any update on that score?
Yes, they are playing. The last I saw it was 3-3, but now the Brewers are winning 4-3. So big offense going there. We'll see what happens. If you're the Dodgers, you probably hope it goes 5 games if you can move on to the NLCS. But the way they're playing with the bullpen just being their weakest link, I don't really care who they play.
If the Cubs should come through, though, would that give us the home advantage in the NLCS?
Yeah, so even though the Cubs won the season series, we finished with more wins. So the Dodgers would host the CS. If it's the Brewers, clearly they had the number 1 seed in the NL, so LA would travel there and get a 2018 NLCS rematch between the Brew Crew and the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers match up well with both of them. I think if you can beat Philly and sweep Philly of all teams, that would give them a lot of confidence. That would give me a lot of confidence heading into the next round and the possibility of another World Series run.
God, that sounds like music to my ears. Oh, and one more thing, Anthony, I did. You probably saw it too. You asked a question on one of the past lives this past couple days. Do the Padres drive or do the Padres fly? I think Manny Machado may have answered that question. Did you see that?
Yeah, actually Juan Soto flew there too. I saw that tweet going around too. But yeah, the last thing I want is yeah, it's just funny. I've been consuming a lot of Cancun knowledge the past couple days, but yeah, they both end up flying there.
Yeah, so Padres 3-2-1 Cancun. Enjoy. Hope you are loving your time there while we're enjoying getting ready for the NLCS. And like you said in the past, Cody, it wouldn't be a Bleed Lows podcast without a dig on those Padres. But yes, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. Like Cody said, please check out DodgersBeat.com and the Bleed Lows podcast YouTube channel with everything pregame, postgame articles that are constantly being put out by both Cody and Steve Webb. Amazing stuff for you to get you through the month of October. And you can find all of us at our handles. You can find me, Drea, on Instagram at Ravine Queen 1958. You can find Anthony on X at Anthony Acosta _, and you can find Cody on X at Snavely Cody 6. And yes, hit the bell notification, like and subscribe. We're going to be here with you all through the postseason, pregame, postgame to get you through it. It's been an amazing night, fellas. So with that, until next round, let's go Dodgers.